Searching for a $5,000 truck, expect a beater with a check engine light, a suspicious oil leak, and a seller who will not answer questions about the transmission. That expectation is not unreasonable, given what shows up at that price point in most vehicle categories. The reason it does not hold up for these four specific trucks is that they were built during an era when compact truck engineering prioritized simplicity and durability over features. And that engineering has aged into some of the toughest, cheapest reliable transportation available anywhere in Texas today. A quick expectation reset before the list itself. $5,000 is realistically the entry point into this category, rather than the guaranteed price for a clean example. In the current market, a genuinely well-maintained truck from any of these four platforms more often lands closer to $7,000, with $5,000 listings typically representing higher mileage or cosmetic wear rather than mechanical problems. That distinction matters because the mechanical case for all four of these trucks holds regardless of which end of that price range you land on. In fourth place, the Toyota pickup, sold under various names through the 1980s and into the mid-90s before the Tacoma nameplate existed, trades for $4,000 to $8,000 in Texas, depending on condition and whether it carries four-wheel drive. The 22R and 22RE four-cylinder engines from this era have developed a reputation bordering on folklore among mechanics, with documented examples running past 300,000 miles on original internals and minimal intervention beyond timing chain guide replacement when necessary. The known weakness that Texas buyers specifically need to check for is chassis rust, since these trucks were built before modern rust-proofing standards, and any example that spent significant time in humid coastal areas or was regularly exposed to road salt in colder states before arriving in Texas can show frame corrosion that is expensive or impractical to repair. A thorough inspection underneath the truck, checking the frame rails and crossmembers specifically rather than just the visible underside, is not optional on this truck. Tow rating is modest by modern standards, around 3,500 pounds, but the truck was never marketed as a heavy hauler in the first place. In third place, the Chevrolet S10, built from 1982 through 2004 across multiple engine options, trades for $3,500 to $7,000. The 4.3-liter Vortec V6 available in later years is the engine worth specifically seeking out, since it shares design lineage with GM's larger, more durable V8 truck engines, rather than being a compromised smaller unit. And independent mechanics describe it as genuinely tough for a compact truck engine, regularly surpassing 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. The known weakness on higher mileage examples is intake manifold gasket seepage, a fix typically running between $800 and $1,000 at an independent shop due to the labor involved, and rust around the rear wheel wells on trucks that spent years in wetter climates. Though Texas examples tend to fare noticeably better on this front than trucks from the Rust Belt. Tow rating on V6-equipped models reaches around 5,000 pounds, respectable for a compact truck of this era. Here is where most budget truck shoppers make their biggest mistake, assuming that anything labeled a compact truck from this era must be underpowered and fragile, when the two remaining trucks on this list demonstrate exactly the opposite. In second place, the Ford Ranger from the second and third generation, built roughly from 1993 through 2011, trades for $3,000 to $6,500. Mechanics across Texas independent shops routinely describe this generation of Ranger as one of the toughest small trucks ever built, earning a reputation among fleet buyers and ranch owners as something close to a war tank in a compact truck body, largely because the 4.0-liter V6 and even the smaller 2.3-liter four-cylinder options were both engineered with generous safety margins and simple, accessible mechanical layouts that any shop in the state can service without specialty tools. Documented examples in fleet and ranch use routinely surpass 250,000 miles, with the timing chain on the later Duratec four-cylinder eliminating one common maintenance expense, though earlier Lima four-cylinders did still use a timing belt. The known weakness worth checking is rear leaf spring wear on trucks used for consistent hauling, an inexpensive fix, and light surface rust on rear wheel arches that is cosmetic rather than structural on most Texas examples given the drier climate. Tow rating reaches 5,000 pounds on properly equipped V6 models. And in first place, the Nissan Frontier from the first generation, built between 1998 and 2004, along with the related Nissan hardbody predecessor, trades for $3,500 to $7,000 and earns the top spot on this list through a combination of engine durability and genuinely low ownership cost that is difficult to match anywhere near this price point. The 3.3-liter V6 available in these early Frontiers is mechanically related to Nissan's larger truck and SUV engines of the era, and has a long documented history of reaching and exceeding 250,000 miles with straightforward maintenance. The specific issue Texas buyers need to know about before shopping this generation is that the 3.3-liter V6 uses a timing belt that must be replaced as scheduled maintenance, typically every 105,000 miles. Because this is an interference engine, a snapped belt can cause severe internal engine damage. Any buyer considering this generation of Frontier should specifically ask for documentation of the last timing belt replacement and treat an unknown answer as a reason to budget for an immediate water pump and timing belt service. Tow rating on V6 models reaches around 5,000 pounds, and fuel economy, while dated, is predictable and well documented across the ownership period. Across all four of these trucks, the pattern is consistent, even though each one comes from a different manufacturer with a different engineering philosophy. Every one of them used an engine platform built during an era that prioritized mechanical simplicity and generous durability margins over the complexity that defines modern trucks. And every one of them has decades of real-world ownership data, confirming that the engineering held up exactly as intended, provided the specific known weak point for that platform is understood and addressed before or shortly after purchase. None of these four require specialty knowledge to evaluate properly. A pre-purchase inspection focused specifically on the frame for the Toyota, the intake gaskets for the S10, the rear leaf springs for the Ranger, and the timing belt history for the Frontier will tell a buyer almost everything they need to know within an hour, for less than the cost of a single tank of gas. If this list changed the way you think about what $5,000 can actually buy in the Texas truck market, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share it with someone hunting for their first truck on a tight budget. Comment below with which one of these four you would drive off the lot today. The next hidden reliability breakdown